know what that sound is. It's 1 o'clock on a weekday. And it's Odds Take, right? And it's the 5th edition. I even had to ask Aaron, how long have we been doing this, man? My days are running together. And I said I'll open up the show because the game is tipping off right now. So I got to give you Ohio against Eastern Michigan. Hit the Ohio team total over 38.5. It's literally about to tip off now. That's why I got to open it like that. But hello, how are you doing out there? Thank you for tuning in again. And thank you, Aaron, for coming and showing up again because I got to have you here. That's my man, Aaron Raybold at Aaron is Bliss. And I'm Jerry Bo Sports. What's happening, my brother?
Oh, you know, just another day, another dollar. Well, hopefully, need this Ohio bet to hit and then another dollar because, you know, somebody's on a limited budget now. But
Here we go. Hey, shout out, to everyone that showed up a little bit early. Hey, I'm telling you, tell your friends. We can only grow through you. So tell your friends, yo to everyone, yo to Chuck, yo to the Aggie Milkman, Gavin's in the house. Joe Pro was the first one. Good afternoon, odd takers. Throw another log on the fire. So this is something we're going to talk about right then and there before we even get into the show. Do we want to, before we go forward, it's only the 5th show, so we haven't gone too far. This relationship hasn't gone too far, right? Are we going to be odd takers or do we want to be something like odd squad or odd something else? And let me know right now if you guys have any like, I don't know if odd takers, and I was using odd takers. I was the one that's throwing it out there. And then I started thinking, do we need to be more like the odd squad or odd something else? Odd takers, whatever you want. Throw it out there, and we're going to talk about it.
I like that odd squad. Like, not ODD squad, ODDS squad. Odds squad.
The odd squad.
I like that one. I don't know. I could be wrong. Y'all tell me. I mean, it's up to you guys. What do you want to be called? But odd squad works for me.
Well, pull up a seat, 281-522-6336. If you want to get in on anything that we're going to talk about today, because we've got plenty for you to get in on. Again, voice your opinion. That's what this show's built for. You're on your lunch break and you're pissed off at your boss. You're like, you know what? Let me take it out on something. We'll call it 281-522-6336. You had a bad beat yesterday, and you don't even want to show your face. This way, you don't even have to show your face. When you call in, you could just say anonymous. Say, well, get it off your chest. And just a bad beat, whatever. That's what this show is built for. 281-522-6336. Again, tell your friends right now, go to your social medias. Make sure you go to our YouTube and hit the thumbs up. Please, that's going to help us a lot. But without any more wait, let's get into today's topics. What do we got for today, Aaron? We got Draft Me. We're going to start there because we talked about on yesterday's show, we discussed the accusations of, because that's what it is right now, of Brian Flores saying that while he was in Miami, he was offered $100,000 a game basically to lose because the Dolphins wanted to have a better draft position. If true, now we got to get into the implications because it's one thing about his suit that it's going to be real hard to prove. Like I heard John Elway earlier. The way that they're saying is that they had just come from another interview and they flew overnight and they were tired. So how can you go against that and prove that in the court of law? It's going to be a lot of he said, she said, as far as a lot of things, as far as his suit. But then now what he brought to the table, because he brought together basically this would be game fixing, and that's a federal crime. And at that point, if that's found to be what happened, then someone would be facing some kind of penalty, and it usually ends up in jail. This is big time. You can't go out there, and I know it's hard to throw owner, like you can't throw owner in jail. I understand that. That's going to be tough. But I'm telling you, the waters he's treading, one, and then he spoke about that they met on a yacht, and this was around 2019, and he said an unnamed quarterback that was about to be hit in free agency. So basically it was tampering. He meets the owner out there on a yacht, at which point he's told what's about to go down, that quarterback's about to meet them out there. Brian Flores says he burns out of there because he didn't want to get caught up with tampering. So now you're breaking out laws and rules. That's just your team will get hit on the hand and you'll lose some things for tampering. But whenever you start talking about game fixing, that's a whole nother, especially for Hugh Jackson. He stuck his hand in there. All of a sudden, the Browns organization's looking like, wow, we don't even want to play like that. Now Hugh Jackson's coming back and trying to clean it up because if he took the money, if he was to be found, and that's a paper trail. You're not hiding $50,000 direct deposits too easy, not around that time. So like all of a sudden it was be like, Hugh, where'd this money come from? So all of a sudden now everyone's like, man, all right, it's real cute to post something on Twitter, but be careful because these are federal crimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that if you're hinting at something, it's one thing to hint at stuff that's like, you know, I guess not carefree, but something that's a misdemeanor, a class B, class C, something small. That's one thing. You're now starting to get into felonies if this stuff happened. And my problem with the Brian Flores thing and the meeting on the boat that did or didn't happen is he said it did. He said he found out and he bounced. Cool. Smart thing to do. But now accusing them, you better have somebody who was on that boat who's going to come out and back you up. Because if not, Stephen Ross can go, no, I was talking about a meeting when it hits free agency. No quarterback, no number 12 quarterback or any other quarterback came and sat on my boat with me. I was alluding to the fact that once free agency starts, we were going to go take a trip on my boat with this free agent quarterback, and I wanted Brian Flores to be there to sell him on it. So unless he's got somebody who was on that boat who's going to go, yeah, he was there. I'll swear I'll put my name on it under oath. This is getting to be, it's a lot of he said, she said. And you're not going to money whip. You're not going to be able to outspend a billionaire when it comes to legal stuff like that.
Then you ask yourself the question on his way of running out of there, did he ever see the quarterback? Did he ever see him? And if he didn't, so that's why I'm saying that's why it's so crazy with the Flores thing, because as far as those things, they can't be traced. As far as the money, did he ever get one of those $100,000 checks? There's so much to this that whenever he went to bat and he took this stance that he better have enough evidence or enough ground to stand on. And he even reached out, they said, to the Texans and the Saints as well, after all this is going on. I believe it was yesterday evening, saying, I'm still interested. Like, if you want me, I want to be committed to being a head coach the right way. I don't know if those doors are going to shut now. I don't know if, like you've said, if someone's just going to do it out of pity now. Like, what's the move that you do with Flores? Because he's a damn good coach. You've seen that. You've seen that. And he's one of the few out of that New England coaching tree that have made it work and made it work quick and made it work with a bad roster. Let's be real about that. That Dolphins team was competing in a division with the Patriots and the Bills. Come on now.
I mean, a lot of it seems, I feel like he jumped the gun way too early, knowing that he was in the mix for the Saints, knowing he was in the mix for the Texans.
Secure the bag first, right?
Yeah.
And then go off?
Wait, sell them on, yes, I'm the guy for the job. Get the job. And then start talking to somebody and go, hey, somebody needs to look into the league because this is messed up. Because then if you have the job and say the other owners are pressuring, I'm not going to call him a bad name, Cal McNair, to fire this dude. Oh, he's making us look bad. Then Cal McNair's tied, like he's tied to him. He can't just fire him. Like, wait until you get those interviews done and say the rest of the teams all pass you up and say, we don't need you as a coach. Then you go in. And yes, then it looks like you're just, doing it because you didn't get a job. But then at least you have some proof of those Bill Belichick text messages. Then you have something. Doing it while you're still in the middle of interviewing for other jobs, that's not smart.
I think he was just so stunned, by the situation. Like,
but that he's got to have legal counsel that talks him down from that emotional.
And that's what's
you can't be so emotional making those decisions.
I think that lawyer let him jump the gun. But I would have secured the bag first because obviously there's interest. And I think there still might be. If the Texans are smart, they still go get him. That shouldn't have to do with anything. Can the guy coach? Yeah. Now, I saw some people saying, well, now people are going to play harder for him. I don't believe that either. I believe that he's a good enough coach that he should have an opportunity. He showed that he opened the curtain a little bit. Now you're think about that. Think about the picture he just painted, and that's a world that's inside that world of football that we've seen on movies and TV shows like Playmakers and but whatnot back in the day on ESPN. Remember that, the old schools. But these guys had a secret meeting on a yacht. Think about that, with a free agent. So that's a world inside of a world that these guys are living in that we never hear about. And he just pulled it back and said, hey, I'm telling y'all, this is what went down. Now, many are talking, how can we prohibit the tanking if now the word's going to be brought up in the NFL? Usually you hear it more in the NBA. Like the Philadelphia 76ers were adamant about saying, man, tank, believe. What was their slogan?
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust the process. They made it known. We're going to hurt for a few years, but we're going to be all right. In the NFL, you never really heard them just say straight up, man, we're going to tank this. The tank for Tua was kind of like, huh? It was like, whoa. And now you hear that it was literally that, and that's why now it makes sense. Like, dang, y'all were saying that literally. We thought it was cute to say. What stops that? Are you a fan of or one day going to a lottery system, kind of like the NBA? Not the top teams in the playoffs, obviously, but the non-playoff teams, throw them in a basket. Obviously, the worst ones get a better, higher odds at it, more balls in the ball or in the thing to pull them out of. However they do it.
No, because that's too random. That's benefiting somebody who, it takes a lot to lose that many games in the NFL. It's difficult. You literally have to put a bunch of slap dicks on a roster and then hope that they're going to, match job themselves and shoot themselves in the foot and screw up and lose games. It is hard to lose every game in the NFL. Tanking is not an easy thing to do. You really have to craft a roster that is so bad. I mean, look at the Texans roster. Aside from Laramie Tunsil, Justin Reed, Brandon Cooks, stuff like that. Name me one player that you think belongs on another roster that wasn't a rookie.
Brandon Cooks.
Exactly. It's a bunch of guys that you go, yeah, well, they assembled a just island of misfit toys for a team.
That's the C
team. And they
team.
Still won 4 games.
Remember at school there was an A team, a B team, and then the C team, the ones that didn't make the good grades, but they had some little talent. That was them. They're the C team.
Yeah, and they couldn't do it. And they still won 4 games. This was a team that Vegas said, oh, they're going to win 4 games, and every realistic Texans fan or anybody who follows the team went, this is a 2-win team. And they somehow overachieved that.
What do you guys think? Do you agree? 281-522-6336. Get in on the show. First person to call again, 2-day package. I'll get you 2 days of my picks going into the weekend for free. If you're out there listening right now and you want to get in on anything that we're talking about, my man D. Roots says, firing him after two back-to-back winning seasons and starting like 1-7 or 1-8, then they rattled off 8 or 9 straight. Little suspect getting the axe. And you saw with the Hugh Jackson situation, this man had 1 win in 2 seasons. The following season, he won 2 and lost 5. They said, whoa. 2, you're moving too fast. Let's slow this down, Hugh. Get him out. But that's where we are right now. I don't know how long this goes. I don't know where this leads. I don't know. I just hate that. I think Brian Flores was going to end up somewhere good, and without this, and then he should have spilt the beans on all of them. But at the same time, now you're hearing like, who is it? Tiki Barber was crying all emotional, saying that there's no way that the Giants are he was back in, he was in there being emotional about the situation. So I guess we're about to see where it goes. I saw Culley's name in there. He talked about Culley, and I hate the way they worded it. It said Culley was put in a bad situation to where he had to start Davis Mills. No, he started Tyrod Taylor. Like, it wasn't Mills in that horror. I don't know how many pages, 30-page ordeal. That's what it said. I read into it a little bit, and it was like, no, he wasn't forced to start Mills. He started Taylor.
Yeah, he was doing what he thought was going to get him to win, or at least he's got plausible deniability because he ended up winning 4 freaking games. So there's so many levels to this thing, and everybody goes, oh, well, it looks suspect that they fired him after these winning seasons. Yes, it does, but also it's the same thing. Stephen Ross is his boss. Everybody has a boss. When your boss tells you to do something, whether it's good or bad, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's the best in the company's interest or whether you think it's the best in your interest, you got to do it. And Stephen Ross clearly gave him a directive of, I want the number 1 pick. And he didn't follow through. Fine. That's fine, but you get to deal with that. You get to deal with the outcome of that by when your direct boss the owner of the organization that you work for tells you do something, you've got to do it. And
whether you're in football
it's your choice.
Or in Subway, it might be the last sandwich you ever made. Straight up in life, it sucks that it's that way. I hate it personally. That's why I don't want to have a boss, like a big boss. I just don't like it. That's why I try to do my own thing, because I don't like that. I don't like anything about that. But unfortunately, that's such is life. And in a big world, inside a world of billionaires and a lot of money getting thrown around and a lot of sketchiness now that you're seeing. I mean, look at the Washington Commanders. I almost said football team. The Commanders. Look at all the reports that have gone down with sexual harassment and all this business. And now you hear that the government and there's like investigations going on, and they still, that's hard. That's how hard it tells you to take down a billionaire. Like it's hard to take down a billionaire You better come with real and they got ladies saying that there was sexual harassment all within the organization in Washington. They've got multiple people, and they still haven't got them. They're still in process of getting. I mean, it's such is life.
And I'm not saying that Brian Flores deserved to be fired. I don't know. I go back to what I've said multiple times. From people that I've talked to, I've heard he is Bill O'Brien 2.0. He's a dick in the entire building. He's not nice to people. He yells at people. He screams. He's got a short temper. I've heard that. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I haven't worked with him. He might be the nicest guy in the world, but more than one person has said, yeah, he's kind of rough to work with. Okay, that's another thing. Now, it's up to them on whether or not they're going to fire him or not. Do I think he should probably get another head coaching job? Yeah, give him one. You know, if somebody's desperate enough, try him out. See what happens. But at the same time, you're dealing with one of 32 teams in the world. If you're a billionaire, so much of your money and so much of your future is getting it right. And are you going to take a shot with a guy that you don't think is right or you think might be right versus a guy that you think is the right thing? That's a bold move to make with billions on the line.
And again, coming off that Bill Belichick tree, Belichick probably isn't very pleasant to be around and work with. But winning, it cures everything. And once you see that he wins, and I believe that maybe Flores tried to take that feel into an organization that's a little more like, hey, we're not used to this kind of stuff. Like, what are you talking about? And he came in there with that from the get-go, like, hey, we're gonna run it like this. This is the Patriot way. And then he's being told not to win. It was probably a game inside his head the whole time.
This is another thing I never understood with branches of the Belichick tree. Everybody, all these coaches that come off the Belichick tree try to act like a hard ass, try to act like a dick, and it's my way or the highway kind of thing. I've talked to a few players who have played under Bill Belichick and a few players who have done the Patriot way, who have gone, yeah, he's mean at a podium. He walks out of that podium, that door shuts behind him. That's not Bill. Bill's a nice guy. Bill's a fun guy. Bill's a guy who knows all of his players from 1 to 53 practice squad guys. He knows their families. He knows their kids' names. He checks on you. He makes sure. I know a guy who played for the Patriots, ended up leaving the Patriots, going somewhere else. When that team cut him, he got a text message from Belichick going, hey, just want to check in, make sure everything's okay. Keep your head up. You got this. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to be successful. Like, I don't know if the few players I've talked to are lying, or all these coaches that really want to go out and prove themselves see how he acts to the media and they go, oh, that's just got to be the way it's got to go. I don't know. I don't know who's lying, but I've heard it both ways. We all see Bill Belichick being a dick to people at the podium at times. Fine, you get short with people. But I've also heard players who said, I loved playing for him. It was a short time, and I was only there a couple of years, but I would play for him in a heartbeat. Winning
does a lot, though. There's a lot of, because you see Gronk and Brady. Gronk left, and right after the first thing he said, it's back to having fun in football. So it just is structured. I think it's all it is. It's a lot of structure in New England. It doesn't mean that the fun may be taken out of it, but that's why you've seen guys that go there that can't, the Ocho Cincos of the world, you can't go there and learn and be that certain type of guy. You telling me that he didn't have more skill than any of these little receivers that have ever been there? Way more. But why didn't he wasn't able to acclimate to himself to that way? Because I don't think he was just built the way to be able to be structured. And some people need structure, and that's why structure builds winners. I mean, at the end of the day, structure builds a winning recipe for life at the end of the day. So that's where we are. Let's move over to the Odd Takes courtroom. Every week we're going to try to bring in something that happens, right? Something that happens out there that I see in the Twitter world that there's two different sides on, and both sides are trying to make their point. We're going to make it to the courtroom. We're going to bring it to the judge is, and you're the judge out there as well. Who's wrong in this situation? Let us know. We've all been in this situation, right? You let me know right now who's in the wrong here.
Won't let him go.
Honda wants to get around the truck. Truck ain't having it. Truck's going to go and block and make sure he stays at the same speed.
If you're in truck, do you let him go? Do you just let him go right now? If you're in truck, do you slow down? Like, what do you do? Let me know right now, Twitch. It's the courtroom. Court is in session. Hey, put up those snacks. Jefecito, put down the snacks. This is a courtroom, sir.
Something stupid. Come on. Okay, let's see. Give it a try. Oh, maybe not. Oh, you're going to
Uh-oh.
the idiot.
Most of you know where this is going.
Okay, now we have break.
They tapped out. They said, I want out of
What
this.
you think? What you doing? Hiya. What you? Oh, what you doing?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Uh-oh. Well, order in the court. What do you guys think here? So first thing I thought, man, I hate that guy that rides you. I've been that guy in the lane, but then I usually get out of the lane because I'm like, you know what, this lane isn't meant to be sitting here. But at the same time, he can't just be risking it all like that. He goes around and risk it all. I see people taking the trucks back saying the truck's in the wrong, saying the truck is breaking the law because you're not supposed to be coasting like that in the left lane. You're obviously supposed to let him pass. What if he had as an emergency? What if there was an emergency going on? And other people say, well, there was an emergency. Well, he's never going to get there now. What do you guys think? And then the laugh of the people filming saying, like, well, you don't even know if that guy's alive in that wreck. What do you got? What was your first thought here? Who's wrong, Judge Raybould?
So I've been on both sides. I've been the dude who's going way too fast, trying to get around people. I've also been the guy in the left-hand lane who is going fast, but not fast enough for somebody, and they try to go around me. And I make sure that I stay up with the person next to me just to piss them off a little bit. It just depends on what mood I'm in that day, I guess we'll say. But honestly, I think that Honda got way, way too emotional about it because you
Way.
saw him, okay, I can't get around you. I can't get around you. Well, it's a 2-lane highway. You can see from the sides. They're through the hills. There's rocks everywhere. There's a bridge that they're going over. When you get that emotional about something, you know something's going to be messed up. You know you've got to take a breath and go, okay. And it's kind of like being a running back at that time where, you know, you watch a great running back who will stutter step and wait for the hole to open up. When you're driving, if you're going to do that, you're going to zoom in and out of people. You've got to hold back for a minute. Hold off on the accelerator, just stay, wait for that hole to open, and then take your thing. Going off into the shoulder, especially coming off a bridge to go off into the shoulder and try to go around, you're dumber than a brick. And honestly, you deserve that wreck. I hope everybody is okay and they didn't die. I wouldn't be cheering for it.
Yeah, Joe Pro says it's messed up that they laughed because that's the first thing that came to my mind. I didn't even catch the laugh the first time because I'm like, oh, man, I didn't know it was going to end that graphic. Like, whoa. And then I replay and I'm like, man, they're laughing. Like, we don't even know that person's alive. Like they were cheering. It's just a weird situation, the whole thing. But it's a situation that we're in all the time. It's a game of tug of war when you're in that left lane whether you're the one behind or in the front. It's a game of tug of war that you play a little bit and then eventually you're like, you know what, the game I don't even care to win. And you get over and you're like, go ahead, do your thing. And then they go by you at 90 or vice versa. They're like 60 in that lane and you get behind them. You're like, please get out of the way. You get up on them a little bit. No bad intentions. And then you finally do it a little bit and they still don't move. You're like, man, finally you get a chance and you pull up next to it and it's just a little old lady and she's like all the way up and you feel so bad. You're like, man, I'm glad I didn't do that.
But I'll defend that truck driver a little bit because the dude in the Ford sitting there, it looked like he was getting ready to pass that car on the right anyways. Like he was going faster than them. And then dude speeds up behind him. He sees him in the rearview mirror and sees he's probably going to get hit and goes, you know what? Screw this. Just going to lay off the gas for a minute just to piss this dude off because I was already going faster than everybody in the right-hand lane. When there's two lanes, I get it. The left-hand lane goes as fast as possible and passes everybody. Cool. There's a time where while you're going fast as everybody, somebody in the right-hand lane is going to do the same thing and try to keep up with you because they're a dick. So you can't always fault the guy in the left-hand lane. Well, why don't you get out of the way? You're supposed to go as fast as you can. Well, yeah, I got to go around somebody.
At some point, you got to let it
If the
go.
dude in front of me is going 70 and I want to go 75 or 80, I still got to get around him while you want to go 90. Wait your turn. Chill. Take a breath.
You've all
When
been
it
in
opens
those,
up, floor it.
trying to leave the state. You've seen those two-way roads, and you're just trying to get around on the way to Louisiana, to Lake Charles. You'll have that road, and you're trying to get around. But at one point, you got to let it go. That's what Joe Hernandez says. You got to let it go at one point. My thing here is, man, this could have been avoided. This could have been avoided, but this happens all the time. You see this all the time. One time I was going over there. I was right by 288 and 610. I'll start going down 288 south towards the Beltway right there. And this car was going real slow. Man, who knows who this guy was? This dude was willing to risk it all. So he's in that left lane. This boy's going like 50. I think Now that I look at it, I think he was rolling a sweet. I think he was rolling a blunt because he was going real slow in that left lane. So then I can't get to the right because they had some road work going right coming up. So I'm like, man, there's no point in me going right now. I'm not going to get over. So I'm behind him, and he's going real slow. So I honk a few times, just pissed. Well, this guy was willing to risk it all. He stopped the car on 288, and he stopped the car. Like, he stopped the car. And I said, man, and when he tried to get out that car, you know right then and there, like, this dude's he ain't playing right now. He just kind of go around. He stopped the car on 288. And the reason I think he was rolling something up is because when he got out, he had like the tobacco, the wrapping he had in his hand, and he was, who knows what else he had in his hand. I'm like, man, this dude, if you if you stop on a highway, complete stop, you don't care about nothing. And that's whoever that guy was, I give him. He wins that day. I'm telling you, that guy was willing to risk it all that day. So, again, be careful and Joe Pro says it's not worth it. Just be cool. You'd be surprised how many people probably die out there with road rage every day. Every single day there's somebody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, I get mad behind the wheel, too. I get it. But sometimes you just got to take a breath and let it go and realize if I get there 30 seconds faster, if I get there 30 seconds late, whatever. Sometimes it's not worth it.
And especially in a city like Houston, and if you're out there in any kind of big city, Chicago, I know we got some people here. You got to leave. L.A., I learned the hard way when we were there just for some press stuff from the fights. Like, everywhere in L.A., no matter if you're 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away, you're 45 minutes away. Like, it takes you forever to move around in L.A. Same here in Houston. If you hit up right, especially if you're from the South right here, all this work that's been constructed from God knows how long, from in between League City up to that Beltway right around there's always a traffic jam. And if you go somewhere else right there by 610 coming up on 45 coming up on 610, right there on that intersection by Gulf Gate and all that, there's always a traffic stop. Right when you get to downtown, right before you want to go Scott and Travis, remember how he used to have that downtown destination exit? It always, no matter where you always go, there's always going to be those traffic jams, and you can't really predict it.
Yeah, you can't. You're driving a minimum 2,000 pound vehicle. That's a 2,000 pound weapon. You got to be careful with it sometimes, because guess what? Somebody else is driving a 2,000 or a 3,000 or 4,000 pound weapon. One of them hits you, everything can end in a split second.
So are we in agreement that the Honda was in guilty here before we close out this segment? First ever or odds takes courtroom. Is it guilty unanimously by the jury?
I think the jury says guilty. I mean,
guilty?
Twitchers, you guys let us know. I say guilty.
Should the truck had just let it go at one point and said, man, screw this, Honda's guilty. Yeah, we're getting first one. Honda. I believe Honda's guilty as well. Although that truck could have avoided this situation, Honda's guilty. And the people laughing, there's some a-holes as well. Let's get to break. When we get back, we're going to do lightning round like we always do. You know what lightning room is. Hey, court is adjourned. Jefecito, you can take your snacks. I need you to pay your traffic bills. All right? Well, I'm going to put out a warrant on you, Jefecito. Everyone else, get out of here. I got another person to throw behind bars. And I'm going to put everyone behind bars for about 5 minutes here because we're going to break. But you know what we do on break? We give you a little bit of headlines. Look at the headlines. Enjoy yourself. This is Odd Takes. That's Aaron Raybold. I'm Jerry Bow. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking around for all three of you. No, but thank you for the little crowd we got going on. But check this out, seriously. This is what we got to do before we get into this next segment. You got to go right now to YouTube and hit that thumbs up. You got to hit subscribe. That's the only way we can grow this thing. If you like what you hear every single day, there's only one way we can keep this thing going. And that's eventually to grow it. So if you want us to grow this, go over to YouTube right now, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then go to your social media and just retweet what we posted, tweet your own thing, whatever it is. You got to go ahead and share it, and that's how these things catch fire, and that's how we're going to be able to provide this kind of content every single day. Welcome back. I hope that you guys like what you heard. We got plenty more for you. We're about to get to this lightning round. Let's jump right in, because anytime that Aaron Rodgers' name is going to pop up multiple times throughout this preseason, I know he's now being tied to the Tennessee Titans. Considering where the Titans have been able to go with Ryan Tannehill and the ceiling that he set for them, Aaron Rodgers on the Titans right now, are they the Super Bowl favorites right off the top next year? Where do you put them? The number one team in the AFC this season with Tannehill. Where would you put them?
I still wouldn't put them as the favorite. They've proven they had a tough time shutting down the Bengals. I don't know if I can count on that defense to hold up their end of the deal. I like them. I would probably have them as probably my second favorite coming out, but I don't think that makes them a clear-cut number one coming out of the AFC next season if you just throw Aaron Rodgers on there. I could be wrong, but I don't know what they're going to be able to do with the rest of that team, considering the money that they're going to have to pay Tannehill. They've got some stuff they need to shore up.
Yeah, they're in cap hell. They paid Tannehill and Henry around the same time, and those were big contracts. Now, it was reported on 102.5, the game in Tennessee, in Nashville to be exact, that he's building a house in Franklin. So maybe they're jumping the gun and saying, whoa, but there's also reports that say that Rodgers is very open to joining the Tennessee Titans.
I mean, yeah, Franklin. So I lived in Nashville for a while. Franklin's just a suburb, just like a Cypress or a League City or a Baytown outside of Nashville. It's a really nice area. So it's interesting considering 2 weeks ago we had all this, well, maybe he's going to the Broncos. Maybe he's going to the Broncos. His wife owns a house in Boulder, which is just right outside of Denver. Maybe he's going to the Broncos, and now he's building a house in Tennessee. I think that's a possibility. He might just be building a house because it's a great place to live outside of the season. I mean, he's going to do something beyond football.
How many houses do you think he probably has? I believe that's probably not his only houses either.
No, he had one in, I think he has one in California.
And one in Denver, or his girl lives there.
His wife owns one outside of Denver in Boulder.
Forgot he was married.
He's got one in California. He's now got the one in Nashville, or outside of Nashville. He's got to have some type of house around Wisconsin that he lives in. Probably not the best house, but for Wisconsin, quality is probably a damn good house.
What do you think, Twitch? Where do you rank the Tennessee Titans if you put in Aaron Rodgers throwing it to? I don't know how long Julio's going to be around, but AJ Brown, he'll have a super monster to throw it to with a super monster in the backfield, but we don't know how long that monster in the backfield is going to be. That would be in a running back, and at the amount of hits he takes, maybe him and Rodgers only maybe got a good 2-3 years, because I keep saying that about Henry, and he keeps surprising us, but this year he finally got an injury. Let's see in the next 2 years, let's see if Henry falls off like most running backs do around this time. It's just the thing that happens to running backs in this league. Let's move along here. And the next one is LeBron James' son, Bronny James. What do you think about this? That boy's going to make big moves. You already know this. That's a known. They're talking about before his new brand of video games, clothing, NFTs. So he needed to trademark some things. Number one, he trademarked Bronny, obviously. 2, a logo of BJ Jr., the signature. And then this one that I found funny, Bronald. Who the hell? Bronald? Where the hell did Bronald? I mean, have at it.
I don't know why he did it. I'm guessing somebody on his team calls him that, and he decided, what's it cost to trademark a thing? A couple $1,000, maybe. How much does it cost? I mean, look at how much his dad makes. He could probably just throw that on there and be like, you know what? Let's just throw it. Let's just do it. What else can I trademark that sounds remotely close to my name, so nobody else messes with
And
it.
nobody else is eating off of this. You got, I mean,
Yeah.
when you're at that level, you got to watch your back because there's a lot of things that could come off of it.
Of course, he might be watching his dad, whose dad's a complete moron and got trademark happy, trying to trademark Taco Tuesday like an idiot. Like, oh, I invented Taco Tuesday. No, you didn't. People have been saying Taco Tuesday for 40 years.
Yeah, for
Shut
years.
up. Shut
for
up.
years. What else did you invent? The chive? LeBron James? Now, moving along again, Juju Smith-Schuster, ex-Steeler, free agent. Says that he wouldn't mind playing on the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys my first thought was, man, they already have receivers. But once you look more into it, they got to sort out some things with Gallup, Cedric Wilson, which is a guy that they were able to rely on whenever the prime guys were injured. He stepped up and was able to fulfill it. They still got a decision to make with Amari Cooper's contract. Would you take Juju? I'm done with him. You can have him. As a Pittsburgh fan, I'll deliver him, hand deliver him. You can have him. What do you think, Dallas Cowboy fan? Do you think there's a market for Juju out there, or do you think people are out? Have people, or you think this looked and said, man, this guy, he isn't really who I thought he was?
I think there's a market out there for him. I think he's got to be on a team that I don't think he can be a number one receiver. I don't know if he can even be a number two receiver. I think if he's got two guys who are going to take a lot of the attention of your first and second DBs off the line, I think he's got the ability to not be a superstar, but put up solid numbers on a team with a decent quarterback and a lot better options, because he can be a safety valve for some teams.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good slot receiver. Josh likes to refer to him as a tight end because he says that he more plays like a tight end, not really a receiver anymore. He can't really get open. I don't know. I'm just done with Juju. I thought I was done with him last offseason. He was going to go to the Ravens, and then he came back to the Steelers on a one-year deal to basically try to prove something. The only market I believe right now that's really, really high on him is that TikTok market, because that's something he's always going to be able to cash tickets on, and he's going to keep cashing big tickets on because that's where, I mean, imagine how much money he could quit football now and he'll generate enough money to be able to live off of pretty well. That's where he's at right now.
The real question is how much does he value himself? Is he going to go out and say, I deserve to be paid number one receiver money? Or does he have the people around him and the mental capacity to know, look, nobody's going to break the bank on me as a receiver. I'm not going to be even in the top 5 highest paid receivers. I'm going to get a good deal. I'm going to get still generational wealth, because some people forget that if you live right, these contracts are generational wealth. But does he go to a team looking at just cap space right now, over the cap? Does he look at maybe going to play with the Ravens?
I think they've seen enough of him, like playing him twice a year. Yeah, we're out. You had your chance with us last year. He was almost going to sign with him. Who else?
Does he look at a team like the Colts, not knowing what they're going to do at quarterback yet?
I could see Juju in the division. I didn't even think about it. Imagine Rodgers in the division if he did going back to that.
Does he look at going to the Chargers? The Chargers are going to have $49 million in cap space in the offseason.
They got
to build some stuff around. But if you get him at a slight discount to put him on the field with Justin Herbert, I think you could do that easily.
Someone's going to take a chance. I think he might be a fit with the Falcons. My man Gary here says, a receiver with the self-awareness of his own worth, that's asking for a lot, Mr. Raybold.
Hey, there's a first time for everything. I think every now and then one of them comes along and you go, oh, you're not a nut job? Oh, you don't think that you are literally the reincarnation of God? All right. Every now and then we'll see one. It just depends. And it depends on how the Steelers talk to him. If the Steelers are legit with him and say, look, it's just not valuable to keep you around. Like, we thought you were going to be something. You turned out to be okay, but you're not worth the money you want. Eventually, you got to have an agent around you who's going to talk some sense in you and go, yeah, take what you get, dude.
Take it. Like Dennis Schroeder, remember, he was passing up a $80-90 million deal.
It was like $95 million, I think, right?
He said, no, I'm looking for in the hundreds. Thank you very much.
His agent told him, oh, yeah, no, take the deal. And he said, no, screw you. I can make a lot more money.
And he ended up with under 5. You got to take what you get when you got to strike the iron when it's hot, like they like to say. And check this out. This is hot. Scott V. Spina Jr. of Roseland, New Jersey, pleaded guilty to fraud charges on Wednesday for selling Super Bowl rings he claimed to be members of Tom Brady's family. So this kind of opened up a box that I didn't know about. So according to the Associated Press, Spina bought a 2016 Super Bowl ring from former Patriots player in 2017. He sold that ring, and then the players used that player's information to contact the ring company. So once he bought that ring, he was like, "Oh, this is the company that makes it." So he got that, and he made that company. He had that company make him replicas that would look like if it was Brady's family. I didn't realize that the whole family got rings too. So supposedly there was 4 rings that were supposedly given to Brady's family members after that Super Bowl. Well, he remade these rings through that same company because he had bought one, sold it, had that money, and was like, man, I could just make a few more. And he sold those things for like over $300,000. Well, they ended up trying to authenticate these things, and no bueno. And now he's up for fraud charges, mail fraud, and aggravated identity theft.
Send him away. Now, I knew that family members get them. Having worked with somebody whose dad won a Super Bowl at one point, this was way back in the day. And at that time, teams were a lot cheaper and they weren't taken care of as much. But they had told, at the time, coaches and players were told, you get 1 ring. Do you want it for you or for your spouse? And this coach was like, I'm not going to wear a ring. I wear a wedding ring, but that's it. I'm not a jewelry guy. So he got the Super Bowl ring for his wife at the time, which is cool. But now, yeah, teams will spend, especially if you're Tom Brady, they'll buy you 4 rings if you go to Bob Kraft and go, hey, I want 4 rings. Yeah. I need one for me. I need one for Giselle. I need one for my mom and my dad. They'll do it. Who cares? They ain't worried about it. Now, are they going to be as expensive as the one Tom Brady gets? No.
No, with the drop top stadium and all that. I mean, these things are getting out of hand. Just like the dunk contest, we're running out. Now they're going to get crazy with these rings. Now you're seeing open stadiums. Who knows where they go with these rings?
They become a necklace for the Bucks now. You can just put it on a chain like a pendant. Yeah.
How cool is that? I'll tell you what else is kind of cool. Domino's is going to start giving you they're going to start tipping you. You bad tippers out there, whenever you're like, man, I don't even feel like I should be tipping. I feel like it's already built into this price. Well, now Domino's is going to start tipping you $3 as a credit to use on your next carryout order because they got a shortage of drivers. That's how bad we're in a COVID society right now. So they don't have drivers. And the quarterly numbers came out, and boy, are they hurting for business right now, which during the pandemic, whenever the pandemic first broke out, you heard that it was increased numbers, and all of a sudden now I guess people got pizzaed out. I guess maybe people ate so much pizza during the pandemic when it first started that they're like, man, I'm off the pizza for a little bit. I don't know what it is, but they're hurting, and now their drivers not showing up. That's hurting. So now you get a $3 coupon, but don't be thinking, well, I'm just going to use it on this pizza. You have to give them an order on your next order. So on your next order, at least it has to be $5 minimum. So you order one of those little, what is it? Do they have the pizzones or something?
The sandwiches or the pasta bowls or something like that.
$6-7. You get the $3. So now you're getting it for like $4. But then you got to tip again. Now you got to tip them. How about you tip them with a tip? This is where we are. People don't want to work right now. We don't even have delivery drivers that want to work. Let's get to Pow Props. I got some good prop information for you here that I ran across. And again, if you want to get in on the show, 281-522-6336. We're going to talk a little bit about all types of props. Yesterday, we were a little silly talking about Mary J. Blige and Snoop Dogg smoking on stage. Let's get to a little bit something more serious and a little bit of trends behind things. Not so serious, though, because what will the results of the coin toss be, for example? Head, tails, it's pretty much even. If you look at these previous 5 years, it's gone head, tails, tails, heads, tails. So it's really there's no angle there other than it's 29-26 favoring one way. Maybe if you want to say it's gonna catch up, and it's been heads the whole way, so now tails has got 3 to catch up on. Maybe that. We told you the over-under. That's not really that great. Now this, will the team that wins the coin toss also win the Super Bowl? You win the coin toss, that doesn't mean you automatically get the ball. You might defer. But if you win the coin toss, does that team win the Super Bowl? Man, if you look at the last 5 years, the team that's won the coin toss has lost all 5 times. The Chiefs, Niners, Rams, Patriots, Falcons, all the way to 2017. The team that won the coin toss lost the Super Bowl. And this isn't something that just goes back to these 5. If you go over the last 20, 14 times, is there a curse to winning the coin toss?
Oh, that's interesting. Because, see, this is the... Because do they do official head and tails call? I thought during the Super Bowl they have one side that's designated for the Rams and one side that's designated for the Bengals.
They might have changed that to... But
did they change it back to heads and tails? Because at one point, I remember specifically it was Bengals, you got this side, Rams, you got this side. Now, they might let them call it in the air again, but this was years and years ago that it was designed to be one team or the other. But, I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know if I believe in bad luck for coin tosses.
Or is it due? Are you one of those like, man, it's due. It's been 5 in a row the other way. It's been 14 out of 20. It's due.
I mean, yeah. Look at you can also bet on which team ends up getting the coin toss, winning the coin toss. Look at the Bengals' history of winning coin tosses the last couple of games, the last overtime. Is it due for them to win a coin toss?
How will the first points be scored? Is it going to be a touchdown at minus 170, which is favored? Or is it plus 125? Because when you look at it, you look at the last 4 Super Bowls and the first score of the game has been a field goal, and you're getting plus 125. I don't know if it's maybe a little nerves. Maybe the defense is juiced up to make a stop once you're already in field goal range. Bam, they get off the field. But if you look at it, the last 4 Super Bowls have been the first point scored has been a field goal, and you could get it at plus money right now. Just something for you to think about. What will be the longest field goal made? Over or under 47.5 yards? What do you think with these two teams playing and the kickers involved?
Over.
You think that the Bengals
you're
trust?
Inside, you're in a climate-controlled setup. You've got McPherson, who we've talked about, is just walking concrete balls right now with his confidence. I think I'll take the over on that. I think it's over that. I think we're probably looking at a 50, 52-yarder.
Money Mac. Hits. I think if they get into field goal range, they trust him enough. We're like, you know what? Take the points. Money Mac goes up there, hits a little 54-yarder. You cash your ticket. Just like you'll cash your ticket if you can guess the shortest touchdown over under 1.5 yards. And this is a sharp bet, man. I've used this a lot of times. Many people think, man, there's no way they're going to get it. What's the chances they're going to get inside that 1-yard line and have to score from there? The under is actually favored at minus 130. And recency bias will tell you that last year there was a 1-yard touchdown by the Bucks. The year before that, there was a 1-yard touchdown by the Chiefs. The year before that, there was a 2-yard touchdown. So you're the lost, but it shows you that teams do get down there real easy. You will have that ball real close to that 1-2 yard line. It was the Patriots. They did a 2-yard. And then the 18 and 17, both times the Eagles had a 1-yarder and the Patriots had a 1-yarder. So go ahead and look at the under 1.5 yards for shortest touchdown of the game. It's something that's happened many, many of times, and I think that it's going to keep happening. I could even see maybe a quarterback sneak. I could see it now. Stafford gets in the little quarterback sneak. He slams the ball in the end zone. The LA faithful goes wild. I could just see it now. What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I like that one. I got to look and see exactly how much juice I got to pay, but I like the ability when you've got 2 big, strong quarterbacks, and especially Stafford being as big as he is, that get under center, just smash it in right over.
I like
get
that.
it done. Not to mention, you also got Joe Mixon on the other side. How you get a play down there really quickly. All of a sudden, Joey B goes up and goes, "You ready? Let's go!" Right up the shot,
touchdown.
So, I think I like that less than 1.5 yards.
Will there be a successful 2-point conversion? Will there be some risky business? Will McVay risk it? Will he say, let's go for 2? If there's a penalty on the extra point and the offense gets half the distance, do you think that they risk it because it's plus 250 on a yes? Will they have to risk it at any point?
Well, now does it convert, or do they take it? Or do they try it?
Successful.
Ooh.
Plus 250. So there's 2 angles. Not just go for it, but actually convert it as well.
See, the go for it is one thing. My problem is these defenses both have the ability to shut the other offense down. I don't know if I like that somebody's going to actually pull off a successful 2-point conversion. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. 2-point. And But we saw it not long ago. I believe it was the Rams that they got a 2-point. They got the free play or the free half distance to the goal, and then they went for it and didn't get it early in the game. Or was it the Titans? Either one of those. Watched so many damn games. But in a Super Bowl, do they do it? Or does late in the game, does that maybe make someone go for it? But then after they go for it, you still got to get it to get the plus 250. So there's two angles to it. We talked about the angle that the spread was going to go up. Well, we were right. Now it's hit that 4.5 point range. Now it's hit there, and many bookmakers are saying that 48.5 total. So if you're wanting to go over, now would be your chance. If you're wanting to go under, you wait. And I'm pretty sure of that. I've listened to a lot of bookmakers around the country, and they're saying that they're predicting and they're already holding a lot of money on that over. They just don't want to move it yet. But they feel like that they're going to move it, and that game ends somewhere right close to 50. So about a 1.5 move should be coming here soon. And Rams at 4.5. Do you have any early predictions just yet, or are you still holding off till next week to when we have our big show?
I think I'm waiting on that line to move. I think public money's going to come in and it's going to shift it. If I can get the Bengals at 6, if public money comes in on the Rams because it's a home game for them and stuff, I would like to get the Bengals at 6 or better. But that's my only feel right now. I'm going to kind of feel out the way the public's betting and then look at the smart people like you to weigh my options before I start punching tickets on those.
Dr. Dre's in the house. Thank you for showing up, my man. Running errands, talking to lawyer about suing former employee about wages taken after getting paid for work. All right. You get their ass. Both teams will definitely go for it too. Dr. Dre, yeah. Aggie Milkman, yes on the 2. I feel like at one point there might be some scoring. There might be a score where a margin is going to require a 2-point conversion, if that makes sense. Or if McVay, it's a Super Bowl though. It's the Super Bowl. Bengals plus 4 in the under. Dr. Dre, if you're going to wait on that under, if you're going to hit the under, wait on it. I think it goes to about 50. You're going to get a better number than you get now, and I think you get a better number than you get on the Bengals now. A little two-way parlay, Bengals and under, I believe is correlated. I think the under plays with the underdog, and if it's a high-scoring game, I'm not sure. That's where the whole game is going to get played out, is in those trenches, because we saw what the Titans were able to do, and the Chiefs, we knew that they can't create pressure. They're 30th in pressure created and sack rate. Like 24th against quarterback hits. They can't even get there. Not even just the sacks. They don't even get there. The Rams, that's not the Rams. The Rams can get there. They can get there without bringing extra men. They can get there. They bring gap blitzes. So they're going to bring it. And they know what they saw. They saw that in the Tennessee game with the Bengals. So they're going to bring it. So Joe Burrow's not going to have that much time to just throw it like he got comfortable against the Chiefs. That's where the game. Does Ramsey shadow Jamar Chase right off the front, because he hasn't been shadowing, and you saw him during the Bucks game when the Bucks started coming back. He said, man, let me get Mike Evans, and he moved everybody out of the way, and he was doing all right until he wasn't, because then Mike Evans hit that bomb on him. Do you think Ramsey says, give me Chase right off the top being a Super Bowl, or do you think he plays it by ear because he really hasn't played shadow anymore? That's not who they've made him on that D no more.
I think he'll want to. I don't know if they're going to give him the freedom to go and just, hey, you feel like you can take Jamar Chase, go line up. I really don't think that Sean McVay's defense is going to go, oh, hey, yeah, just go figure it out. Go freelance. Go pull an Aaron Donald. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're also going to try to wait it out, because you got to remember, you take away Jamar Chase, okay, you got Tyler Higbee. Higbee is, Joey B's little safety blanket. You take away one, he's got another outlet. He's got Joe Mixon out of the backfield who can catch passes and run. So I feel like they're going to kind of want to feel it out a little bit before they just go, okay, Ramsey, you know what? You're on Chase. You take care of him. That's just me, though.
No, it makes sense. There's a lot of ways this could play out. It just Ramsey hasn't really shadowed, so maybe they play by ear. They're going to see if the defense is getting the defensive line and creating pressure to where he doesn't have to cover Chase for extended amount. Who knows? That's what makes this whole week coming ahead interesting. It's going to make it fantastic. Gary says the Rams team total over 27.5 is probably the best play on the board. It could be.
You're right, Milkman. I'm not thinking Higbee on the Rams. Higbee is on the Rams. That's my bad.
Von Miller MVP. Von Miller MVP. So we're going to get into that. Before we get out of here, I want to let you know we're going to do the squares. Like I said, I'm going to give out some free time in the group. I'll make it worth your while. It's going to be good. I'll figure out something to throw in there. We're going to do a prop sheet. So I think we're going to come up with maybe let's say maybe 12 props, everything from the Gatorade color to who comes out second first. And then we'll tally up those points. We'll have you all email. So everyone that wants in, we'll post it, and then you answer it, and then you'll email us. So then after the game's over, if you think that you won and you had a high score, then we'll tally them up, and that'll be the person. So we're going to have a prop sheet for the odd squad. I think we came up that odd squad is the way that we're going to go. So no more odd takers. The odd squad squares are going to be alive. And this is what we're also going to do, because there's only, the little 20 of you that show up, 25, 30. So throughout this week, on certain days when you show up, I'll give you multiple squares. So then some people, for showing up more, you'll have multiple squares. We'll figure out all that this week. We keep getting screenshots of the people show up, so you guys are automatically included. We want to thank you again, though. Thank you for showing up. Tell your friends, though. This is what we got to do. Tomorrow, today, go tell your family. Tell someone at work. Tell them, hey, we got to tune into these guys. You want some sports? You want some entertainment? That's what they bring us. That's what we're going to keep bringing you every single weekday from 1 to 2. And you know what tomorrow is? It's beer time. Go ahead and go on your happy hour. Go hit your happy hour during lunch. Hit us up. We're going to be drinking beer. You can drink beer with us as well, but we got to get out of here. Signing off for the squad. That's Aaron Raybold at Aaron is Blitzed. I'm Jerry Bow at Jerry Bow Sports. Follow us at WeBet. Follow us at go to the site WeBetATS.com. And that's all I got for you. Much love. Thank you for showing up. Peace.
Thank you.